we are going to look at JM Kariúki final 48 hours up to the time he died. A few days before he died, first of all, I've met a reliable source that claims that JM Kariúki was picked from his house in Kindaruma. But records with the special branch or with the intelligence is that he was picked from Ole Odume Road in this house that was called Mwenge House. Well, the difference is the same. Whether he was picked in Kindaruma or he was picked on Ole Odume Road, the difference is the same. It doesn't change a thing. And the person is so close and reliable in such a way that maybe a member of the family of the JM Kariúki can now tell us, is it Kindaruma or Ole Odume? Because those are two different places, and I think Kindaruma Road and Ole Odume are not near each other. However, JM Kariúki was supposed to go to Mombasa using an OTC, Overseas Transport Company, which was also called East Africa. He postponed his trip. He wanted to go to Mombasa because the leg that had been injured when he was a Mau detainee, there are occasions when he was being advised to go to a hot place to assist blood circulation in his body. I have seen some media report which were talking of other things, but also, you know, during those canoe days, it was a bit hard to document things. So it is not like today where people come out openly. It is not like today when people can record anything. So we have to live by the little that we have, the little options we have in this case and in any other case, because you find that people are getting old, people are dying. So for us to catch up is becoming a bit of a challenge. But what I know is, for a few days, Ben Gedhi was trying to get to JM, and he could even enter into his compound. One of the Mrs. JM Kariúkis was stopping him from accessing JM Kariúki because JM Kariúki was not feeling well. Now, according to my source, if he was not feeling well, then he was not in a condition where he could board a bus to Mombasa. So it is quite possible that the real reason why he didn't go to Mombasa was the way he was feeling unwell. JM Kariúki and Ben Gedhi have a past. I consider Ben Gedhi to be my uncle, my maternal uncle. Why? Because my late mom came from a place called Kayaba, and that is why she is even today buried. And Ben Gedhi came from a place called Kiamashibi. Those are Madeira West. And it is Ben Gedhi who introduced my parents to each other. So it is Ben Gedhi who is responsible for me being alive. There are other relatives and friends and colleagues whom I had to talk about, whom I was very close. Like the Uko case, there is Barnabas Lubisia, who is my maternal nephew. By this I mean, Barnabas Lubisia's mother is a member of the KHWATENGE family from one of the 4 houses, and I'm from another house. So you have to understand that it is really painful for me to decide to go with the side of the truth instead of people whom I consider to be my relatives. But also I have to tell you that it gave me a privilege, because being relatives to those people who are involved, I could come across information quite easily, because I would say I'm concerned as a relative. Now, JM Kariúki originally was from Nyeri, and Ben Gedhi was originally from Nyeri, and I was even buried in Madera West. They were, I'm told, schoolmates. So here was JM Kariúki. No, here is Ben Gedhi, who had been instructed to convince JM Kariúki to leave his place and meet these people at Kingsway House. Kingsway House was the original Nyati House. It is now near Central Police Station, because Central Police Station previously used to be known as Kingsway Road Police Station. So he was supposed to, and the meetings were to be held a few days, but every time he would go and be stopped by one of the Mrs. Kariúkis, and he would be told that JM Kariúki is unwell. And when he went back and told those people that JM Kariúki is unwell, they would say, uko na hakika, ulienda ukamuona, whatever. So one time he insisted that he wanted to see JM Kariúki one-on-one. This thing shocked Mrs. Kariúki, because even if these people knew each other since their youth, he's not aware of any other time when one of them has ever requested to go into the bedroom of the other. But she just told him, in case you doubt me, wacha nikupeleke. And she took him to the place first floor where the bedroom was. And he went and observed, and he went back and told the team that JM Kariúki is not feeling well, and I saw it with my naked eyes. They waited until JM recovered, and when JM recovered, so JM Kariúki was to die earlier. No, he was not to die, because the intention was not to... JM Kariúki was to be interviewed earlier, but it was late up to that 2nd of March because he was not feeling well. And then on the date mentioned, JM Kariúki accepted to go and meet the interrogators. JM Kariúki he knew the team. He said, first of all, before I go, whom am I supposed to meet? He was told, blah, blah, blah. He said, that team is a very bad team. That team is very bad, and I cannot go there without an arm. But you know, Josek, there's somebody called Thuo. I don't know whether it is Josek Thuo. I'm getting old, my photographic mind is... But Mr. Thuo, who was the district commissioner, Nyandarua, had withdrawn JM's firearm license, which meant even today, if the district security committee withdraws your firearm license, you are supposed to return all firearms and all ammunitions. So they were sure that JM was not armed. But at that point in time, Ben Gedhi was sure that JM Kariúki was not going to be killed. Why am I saying so? Because he organized for JM Kariúki to be given a GSU standard small arm, either pistol or revolver. 2, when you planned to murder somebody, you trick him to get out of... Now, going to public place like Hilton Hotel or anything was exposing him. But since Ben Gedhi was sure that nothing bad would happen, so he accepted to give him a standard government gun, a revolver. So, and you see, they are now at JM's residence, and they need a revolver. So Ben Gedhi gets out his walkie-talkie, talks to GSU headquarters, and tell them that I'm going to town, and can you go to the armory and collect a gun of this and that type. That is why they went and passed through Hilton Hotel. So from JM's residence, they went to Hilton Hotel instead of going straight to Kingsway House. Because if you check, just check if it is Kindaruma or if it is Oleodume, you could go straight to Kingsway House, around Jivanji, around Central Police Station. Why do you then have to go to Hilton? The reason of going to Hilton was a rendezvous where the person who was bringing the firearm and these two would go there. But JM Kariúki had the sixth sense that something would happen bad. That is why he demanded for a fire, and that is why when they reached at Hilton, he told a taxi driver, if anything happens to me, take note of what is happening. And of course, that taxi driver disappeared. The same way, the tractor driver who carried Uko from the scene of accident near Kericho to Aga Khan Hospital, I hope you understand there. I don't have to go into that. So when they were at Hilton, that is when the pistol was brought, and this fellow was taken to Kingsway House, the old Nyati house. So when they sat there, he sat the way people sit during an interview. When you're going for a promotion interview or something, you stay there, you sit, the panel is there. So he was confronted, and Wanyoike Thugu, who was a police reservist of the rank of senior superintendent, and who, if you notice, all presidents, including the current president, they are carried in a vehicle by the ADC, and it is the ADC who opens the door and salutes the president. But Jomo Kenyatta, it is this Wanyoike who used to open the door for him. So Wanyoike Thugu was there, and he was telling JM Kariúki, kwa nini unasum. You see, these were two hot-headed people. They say that two clever people cannot stay together, but two foolish people can sit together. So tension raised up, they started shouting. Then Wanyoike Thugu slapped JM Kariúki. When he slapped JM Kariúki, the teeth came out. JM Kariúki went for his pistol, and in a split second, Ben Gedhi remembered that should anything happen to Wanyoike Thugu, the only individual, you see, during Moi's time, people like Gigi Kariuki used to travel in the presidential limousine. But during Jomo Kenyatta's time, apart from foreign heads of state, nobody else was in that vehicle. It used to be 4 people. Not even the ADC. It was Wanyoike Thugu in front with the driver, and Mama Ngina and Jomo Kenyatta at the back. Now, if JM would have shot that person, if he would have shot Wanyoike Thugu, Jomo Kenyatta would have wanted to know the circumstances, and he would have wanted to know who gave him the gun. So in that split second, and GSU officers are cracks. I've also attended a GSU course, but you see, I just attended GSU course. There is something that is called zeroing. Your firearm is zeroed to fit your mental status, such that in a police station, when you go for a firearm, you take the nearest firearm and go with it. But in GSU, the gun that you are given, you handle it until you are transferred from that company or you go to general duties. So these people are marksmen, so he shot him once to disable the hand. Then when he was shot and to disable the hand, that time JM Kariuki was bleeding both from the mouth and the hand. And that is when consultations were made. Consultations were made all over. Bio Koinange was consulted, Hinga was consulted, and Hinga was of the view that nothing be done to JM, but you see there are people who overruled him by saying JM would come and tell people what happened and the government would be destabilized. That is when a decision was made that people like Hinga and Ignatius Nderi, who was the director of CID, were of the idea that he should not be killed. But people like Mbio Koinange and others, and of course Wanyoike Thugu, General China, Warohio Itote, and those people were of the idea that he should be finished. And that is the time when Ben Gedhi took out the pistol and shot JM for the second time. And that is why in the post-mortem, there was that indication that there were 2 bullets. Now, when this person was taken to... now, let me jump ahead and come back again. That is why I don't know whether Luo still remove teeth. That is why when they were planning to... You remember Martin Shikuku was saying that some Luos had been hired and his body had been labeled that dangerous Luo gangster has been shot. You know, without the teeth, of course, it would be these are Luo without the Bila Menosita. Now, coming back, here is the time JM is dead. There is tension all over. He is supposed to be disposed of. As I said, when you want to kill somebody, you take him somewhere far away from. But here is Kingsway House, right in the CBD. How do you take the dead person out? Those days, they had brought up a new system where vehicles handling meat would have a red line with white writings meat. So they went, took one of them, carjacked it, placed it there. But from my own observation, conclusion, whatever, is that J.M. Kariúki, when he was placed in the meat vehicle, he was still alive. He had not died. He died between Jivanji Garden and Ngong. Now, having the place where he was found, people used to be dumped there, and I don't know why hyenas didn't eat him. That is when he was taken to Ngong, and when he was taken to Ngong, Ngong again took him to city mortuary, Ngong police. When he was taken to a city mortuary, that is when the government also realized that the unclaimed boat which had been was JM's, and that is why they hired Luo people. I'm not tribalistic. If you check the tape, you'll find Martin Shikuku saying that some people had been hired mourners, and his body had been written, dangerous Luo gangster. The name Luo came there because the teeth had been removed by that slap, and that is how he ended up in the mortuary. Now, I'm not at liberty to disclose the identity of my informer, but my informer was, we have some people, he was the receptionist at the special branch headquarters, Kingsway House. You'll find that during those days, nowadays because of security, Nyati House and all special branch, all the NIS installments are guarded by GSU throughout because of Al-Shabaab security situation nowadays. But during our time, when I was working with the special branch, daytime, it used to be guarded by us. You find that an intelligence officer who is unable to write intelligence reports, he would be transferred to headquarters where he would be just a guard like any other. And he used to put on the normal police uniform. You would find that police, during daytime you visit special branch installments, you find that it was being guarded by police officers in the blue uniform. But those who are not police officers, those who are intelligence officers, who are unable to write intelligence in the field and would be taken to Kingsway House or even Nyati House to be receptionists and also to be the guards at the gate. So this is a person who was there on that fateful day and who saw JM being taken there and who saw JM being... And you see, they were carrying him, a dying person. They even forgot to tell the guards who were there that usiwai ambia mtu hii kitu umeona. So the person who told me was one of them. I tried to intervene. I tried to ask him many questions, and as I've told you, these were people who had been talent spotted and taken to special branch, and it was noticed that they could not make intelligent reports, and so they were taken there. So trying to ask him many questions, you'd find hata hiyo sijui, niliona tu anapita. It's only that he could only assist you to certify that JM walked there and he was with Ben Gedhi, but he did walk out there. He was carried. If you have seen the picture of Babu Owino with the DJ Evolved, that is how JM was carried out of that place. I started with the final 48 hours of JM Kariúki, but I'll carry out a few more recordings concerning JM Kariúki and other political assassinations during KANU days. Thank you.